Hello BookTube, but this is Weekly Reads. Let the bailing begin. I have two bills this reading week. The first one is The Blade Between by Sam J. Miller. This is a contemporary horror novel about a 40-year-old gay photographer living in New York who returns to his crappy hometown to take care of his father. While he's there, he reconnects with his high school boyfriend and teams up with his ex-boyfriend's wife to combat the gentrification of the town. During their campaign, they awake or draw the attention of some form of supernatural entity. And I hated every brief moment I spent with this book. The writing, particularly the first chapter, tries for a Lovecraft, new, weird sort of verbosity that really is just bad. And then the chapters themselves after that are just really short, frenetic, and I didn't like anything about this book. Not the writing, certainly not the writing. Not the, well, I didn't really spend enough time on the plot, but in the characters, it's just the introduction to Ronan, the main character. It's no, just no. So after I bailed on The Blade Between, I started on and then bailed on White Trash Warlock by David R. Slayton. This is a contemporary or urban fantasy in which the setting is Earth relatively recently, just with magic. This is a story of Adam Binder. He is a gay hedge wizard, I guess you could say, who is looking for his missing father. He suspects his father is the warlock who is creating magical items using the body parts of magical beings. When he is called by his estranged older brother to come to Denver to help him figure out what is wrong with his wife. The writing is, in doing so, discovers a supernatural threat to Denver. The writing is serviceable, adequate, not really spectacular in any way. The plot, I'm not in love. I wasn't in love with the plot, and I detested the characters. I'm almost wondering if the story followed like what was hinted in the first chapter, and whether or not the warlock would have been evil daddy or somebody else might have been better than the sort of family trauma that actually happens. So the older brother, Buddy, ended up sending his younger brother into, having committed into a mental institution, which seems more of a torture factory than a mental institution, because the Adam, the main character, is far more attuned to the magical world than the older brother is. But it just, I didn't like any of the characters. It's just, and the plot, this did nothing for me. So I bailed, although I did get further with White Trash Warlock than I did with The Blade Between. So, pretty much all of that happened on Saturday. So I had it sometime and I decided, well, I'm not even going to bother with Crooked Little Heart. Because, obviously, if I'm on a bailing roll, I'm almost certainly going to bail on this. So, I set it aside. And instead, I started on Victoria the Queen by Julia Baird. This is a phenomenal biography of Queen Victoria. I loved every moment with this book. It is just an amazing read. And I learned so much about Victoria and her life and period. I did not know she had 2 older half-siblings from her mother's previous marriage. So yeah. My one issue with the book, I think, is that I don't know if Baird really adequately interrogates the relationship of Victoria with Prince Albert. I mean, as much as the common wisdom is that Queen Victoria and Prince Albert had a wonderful, just ideal marriage, honestly, it really seems to me as if Prince Albert was, if not physically abusive, at least emotionally abusive. He pretty much set to separate Victoria from the 2 other people who absolutely had her back, who she could rely on to support her, Lord Melbourne and Baroness Legend, which left her solely reliant on him. He belittled her intelligence, her accomplishments, and he effectively usurped her power as monarch. Now, while, yes, Prince Albert would have made a great king in his own right, how he went about becoming king is it's reprehensible. So that, I mean, definitely, and that's one thing that I wish a bit more had been done with. Although I'm not entirely sure if this interpretation of Queen Victoria's relationship with Prince Albert is like just unique to me, or other people have kind of started to wonder about that. But I certainly want to read more Victorian biography or biographies of Victoria, as well as other characters and people in the period. So, after I finished Victoria the Queen on Monday, on Tuesday I decided to read the book that I was going to put off till December. Now, the reason why I wanted to hold off on The Age of Decadence by Simon Heffer until December was because this coming Friday, I was going to have a doctor's appointment, and I am not going to lug this book with me, no matter how good it is, and it is quite good. But having more time now, since I started the book on Tuesday, I'm pretty sure I could finish it before next Friday. In fact, I think I'll probably finish it either Monday or Tuesday at the latest. So I went ahead and started it, and I'm loving it so far. I'm not quite halfway through. I'm just now starting Chapter 8 of Protecting Women. So far, I am loving this book. I do have a few quibbles that I we'll talk a bit more about next week. So all I'm going to say is I'm really enjoying The Age of Decadence, and I will talk more thoroughly about this book next Friday during next Friday's weekly reads. Although if you're at all curious, my doctor's appointment ended up being switched. How it's a weird story, but anyway. So now it's pushed back to the 4th of November, which I don't know necessarily if it works or not. I mean, locationally, it's more convenient. I had was going to go to a clinic in Waco because the clinic here in McGregor, where I live, at the time made the first appointment, none of the doctors were accepting new patients. But this week, apparently, there's a new doctor who's joined the McGregor clinic, and she is accepting patients. So I'll be able to go to the clinic here in town, although I'm not entirely happy with how the appointment was changed, but anyway. So, moving on to what I'll be reading to my reading plans after The Age of Decadence, which, again, I'm thinking I should finish either Monday or Tuesday. I think I'm going to do some bill redemption. So the options for the bill redemption at the end of October will be either Crooked Little Heart by Lamott. This is about a family in Northern California who the daughter of the family is not quite a prodigy tennis player, but she's quite good. A novelist stepfather and her mother who's on the verge of a nervous breakdown. And I've tried this novel twice before, and while I think the writing is quite good, I've kind of my previous reading experiences with it have been a bit boring, but I think it could also be that there's one part of the novel that I haven't quite broken through yet, and I'm hoping if I can break through, then I will enjoy this novel much more. The second option is Blue Angel by Francine Prose. This will be the second attempt at Blue Angel. This is the story of a professor of creative writing who is accused of sexual harassment. And largely how that accusation was handled kind of put me off. But I want to give this novel a second go. Although I did have my mom give this novel a go, and she bailed after the first chapter because of that scene. So, anyway. And finally, I will have another go at The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri, which is about a young Indian American coming to terms with his family, and also the unfortunateness of his name. Which, I thought, again, the writing was quite good, just something about The Namesake that just didn't really work for me at the time, but I'm hoping reread will kind of clear that logjam. But we shall see. It is entirely possible the last few books, because I think I should be able to get at least 2 more books read in October after The Age of Decadence, that they could both end up being bills. So we shall see. Hopefully not. But my track record with the literary fiction, if not the made-up stories in general, it's been quite spotty since I've joined BookTube. Anyway, so that's my reading plan, what I've read in my reading plans. So, my plans for next week will be, on Monday, I'm going to be doing my Nonfiction November TBR. I've already done my New Worlds November TBR, which is just the big book of science fiction, edited by the Vandermeers. So again, like I've mentioned several times, my Nonfiction November reading is going to be a mix of the prompts from New Worlds November, as well as some creative usage of the prompts for Nonfiction November. I'm aiming to read about 4 or 5 books, and I'll be reading them during the work week. And given the shortness of the first book I'm planning on reading, I should be able to read it. I'll be able to take it with me for my appointment. On Tuesday, I will be doing the W tag from Jim of Jim's Books, Reading and Stuff. Wednesday, I don't know, maybe the end of the year tag or something else. Even though lately there's been quite a bit of a desert in tags, or in new tags lately, but maybe I'll go and find some tags to do on Wednesday and Thursday, or if I can figure out how to do a discussion video, maybe do one of those. And then on Friday, I'll have 2 videos up on Friday. The first will be my October book haul. So this book haul is going to be smaller than some of my other ones, but it is also going to be entirely history. And quite a bit, it'll be about 11, I think it's 11 or 12 books. I've got all of them in, but one, which I should get early next week. It's currently about to hit the USPS from the middle shipper, whatever you call them, who goes from like the seller to the post office. So I've got one left. It's a book depository book. I might order another book in. I'm kind of tempted to get another one. And then, of course, Friday evening will be weekly reads. So, anyway, that's my plan for next week, BookTube. I don't have anything else to really report. I kind of dithered on my television watching. So mostly listened to music. Although I did start the end of the Bleeping World and hated it. And I've started Eastsiders, and I'm kind of liking it. Although I think that's largely because the episodes are like 15 minutes. Anyway, so yeah. I kind of want to watch a few more things, so we'll see. But anyway, so I'm starting to ramble, BookTube, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you. Have a great rest evening and weekend, and I will see you on Monday with my Nonfiction November TBR.